Get real, child. Let's get real.
There's a real link, an ancient symbiosis between trees and seas that makes a timeless dance within water and carbon cycles. That's why we'll be combining both of them into this one episode. A healthy forest can be a major carbon sink, while an unhealthy one can be a significant emitter. As major rivers rise in forested places and run to the sea, the Get Real program is focused on revitalizing forest ecosystems that redistribute ocean water back onto the land. As the oceans cover most of the earth and carry the majority of CO2, they are most vital to climate solutions. Sadly, oceans are treated with the same lack of respect as shown to forests, which have historically been toppled by civilizations into deserts. Overfishing combined with untold plastic, sewage, and chemical pollution is crippling the ocean's ability to sustain its delicate ecosystems like coral reefs and wetlands that can sequester the lion's share of the carbon drawdown in our climate crisis. So it's imperative we give trees and seas the respect they deserve for their part in the water and carbon cycles that impact nature's every breath. Our forests and oceans are in real trouble, which means our very existence is in jeopardy if we don't get real to do something now.
Did you know that salmon actually fertilize old-growth forests of the Pacific Northwest? Yep. Salmon are a keystone species that return to their place of birth every year if they outswim the orcas, the seals, sharks, sea lions, bears, and birds of prey. Then they will lay their eggs under old-growth branches of Douglas fir and western red cedar. But here's the coolest thing. When they die, completing their life cycle, they leave behind essential nutrients that feed the soil of these trees, which in turn pump water back into this ancient ecosystem that houses amazing keystone predators, like the American bald eagle. One wonders if the salmon appreciates this circle of life when an eagle snatches him up for a yummy lunch. Now back to you, David.
Given that 1/3 of the earth is forest, the Get Real program proposes a plan to dedicate $400 billion a year into forest reclamation and replantings worldwide. Also, innovations plus research and development must be prioritized to preserve and expand the world's forests. Here's several positive ways to get real about it. Number one, end man's practice of clear-cut logging, which create massive loss of topsoil and ecological devastation. This means changing the way we harvest timber, especially from federal lands that aren't managed tree farms. Number two, adopt Get Real's aerial harvesting designs to skip the need for road infrastructure and to minimize destruction of trees that aren't being harvested. Number three, replant vulnerable areas where forests are diminished and dying, especially on federal and state land, as well as remove deadwood to reduce the danger of forest fires. Number four, use this deadwood to create essential products like biochar. Number five, remineralize soil using rock dust and biochar compost for replantings, as well as older tree stands, and comparing increased growth and health. Number six, plant improved varieties of trees or shrubs for various foods and potential biofuels. Number seven, desert terraforming and reforesting at landscape scale design by puncturing into hard arid ground, filling it with rock dust plus biochar compost, which can create smart grid water catchments across the landscape that nourish food forests. Young desert trees can live with initial care for a year, followed by only intermittent watering until a tree and forest become truly self-sustaining. Number eight, system improvements that can keep forests growing healthy with minimal debris and sequestering carbon. Putting 8 million tons of plastic into the ocean each year and overfishing are reckless behaviors that do not portend to a promising future for our planet. Much interconnected life occurs in coastal waters. This is important because these particular areas are some of the most negatively influenced by man. Pollution from raw sewage, plastic waste, on top of overfishing coastal areas have left oceans demineralized, as every pound of fish that is removed from the ocean also removes small amounts of elements stored in that fish. Therefore, restoring coastal reefs and wetland habitats are primary to rebalancing our ecosystems. Thomas Grow of the Soil Carbon Alliance is an authority on near-coastal marine life and biorock technology. Grow has proven ways to improve soil life affordably. His studies show that marine wetland soils occupy less than 1% of the Earth's surface, but hold about half of the wetland carbon and a quarter of global soil carbon. He posits the regeneration of mangroves, seagrass, and saltwater peats of marine wetlands could sequester the needed carbon in just this 1% of Earth. That's because marine wetlands create vast amounts of carbon that are used by microorganisms and sea plants in photosynthesis, while phytoplankton consumes CO2 at the near surface area of the ocean to fight ocean's acidity, which is a major battle where coral reefs grow. The good news is developed methods like biorock allow for rapid regeneration of marine wetland soils while also providing valuable benefits for soil protection and fishery habitats vital to coastal economies. This is why Get Real promotes the following actions for positive impact. Number 1, remineralize oceans with various rock dust for improved conditions of ocean ecosystems. Massive applications of basalt rock dust into forest soils would result in some of the elements leaching into runoff and traveling to the ocean. A transformative idea I propose is to pulverize basalt rock into dust on large ships at sea, which provides a synergistic opportunity to produce minerals for land use while distributing the fine amounts into the ocean. This would allow rock dust to remain suspended for a long time and feed microorganisms like phytoplankton. This critical work could be achieved with a vertical shaft crusher making very fine rock particles through a pneumatic cyclone that leave only the small remains in the airstream. This dust could be blown out to sea and, like the Saharan desert dust that travels across the Atlantic, serve as a source of nutrients for the web of life in the ocean. To power these ships, a real solution could be a return to wind-powered ships in a hybrid form. An idea I'll share more in the next episode that hasn't been fully explored is a ship powered by both wind and wave energy. Number 2, significant global investments must be made into our ocean for large-scale rejuvenation of coral reefs using biorock. Developed by eccentric architect Wolf Hilbritz in the 70s, biorock utilizes the electrolysis of seawater to precipitate calcium and magnesium minerals to grow a crystalline coating over artificial structures deposited in shallow seawater. Biorock grows solid limestone reefs of any size or shape in seawater that get strong with age and are self-repairing. This technology has been used around the world on a small scale with great success. The ocean needs a massive human investment of biorock to restore reefs and marine wetlands. Biorock reefs can be designed to provide habitats specific to the needs of hard and soft corals, sponges, seagrass, diverse fish species, lobsters, oysters, giant clams, and mussels. An innovative idea Get Real has is to create biorock artificial reefs on floating lagoon islands that would boost sea life out in deeper waters without affecting existing coastal areas. Ideally suited for community-managed aquaculture, these small floating islands could be rich habitats for sea life, producing food and biofuel that sequester a lot of carbon with saltwater plants such as seaweed. These plants can produce food and bioenergy in just 1/10 the surface area needed compared to land systems, which leads us to Number 3, investments in research and development for improved varieties of seed plants, which offer superior carbon sequestration, food production, biofuels, and even biofertilizers that can really transform our ocean life for the better. Number 4, many countries have shorelines but no major harbors and therefore can't use ocean shipping. A creative idea Get Real promotes is offshore floating harbors for the many areas that don't have a natural harbor. This will allow large transport ships to dock in a calm harbor while capturing wind and wave energy for the harbor and dock ships. These harbors would increase the use of ships for transport and could be carbon neutral if wind and wave energy are used. Coastal waters are under control of local governments, so any efforts to enhance carbon sequestration and remineralize our waters will include bureaucratic collaboration and supervision in one way or another. And since property rights stop at the waterline, we must create innovative public-private partnerships for maximum impact. These Get Real goals for forests, oceans, and life on Earth are not modest, but with everything that's at stake in climate change, bold action is called for, and now. So let's all heed the call for Mother Nature to take positive steps together. Thanks for joining us, and please tune in again for our final episode, Smart Energy Options.